It's time to go Code Red inside the East Coast Wrestling Association.
I can't believe anything that just happened.
If you had told me this is what would transpire in a match with these stakes, I wouldn't have believed you. It has been unbelievable. Everything that has weighed on this contest with so much at stake. Now both men staggered, trading vicious right hands. Discus punch there from Wild. Matching discus punch from Martinez.
I think Martinez caught him with an elbow there.
They trade big boots. Oh my goodness! Super kicks in stereo, and they both go crashing.
Well, that seemed to wake the ref up.
Keener finally back too. He will issue the 10 count.
Oh, wait a minute. Here comes Renee again. And J.J. Dillon on his way in.
And wait, Dillon's in the ring, but that's got Keener distracted. And I'm a little surprised, quite honestly, that Renee Michelle isn't taking advantage.
She's being cautious for some reason.
She pulls Martinez on top of Wild.
Now acting innocent here.
Oh, now wait a minute.
J.J. Dillon turning the tables.
Cover. 1, 2, no. 2.5.
This, you know what this reminded me of just now? As if J.J. Dillon was sitting there singing, "Anything you can do, I can do better."
Absolutely. What a match. This is just unreal. The twists and turns.
I mean, with all due respect to anybody who's outside the ring as a manager, to any competitor in the ECWA, you're looking across the ring at J.J. Dillon, a legendary manager. This man knows the ins and outs of managerial work. He knows what he should do and what he shouldn't do. Don't think that you're going to, pull the wool over somebody's eyes, or you're going to go in and do something smarter than somebody like J.J. Dillon. You are out of your mind.
Doesn't this feel like Rocky 2? They're just trading those blows, right? They're just trading blows. Both staggered, both barely standing. Every single blow, the notch turned to 11. Oh, the big boot caught Wild.
Chris Wild is just hoping that this doesn't turn into the end of Rocky 4, or not even the end of Rocky 4, the middle of Rocky 4, where for one of these guys, it is over completely.
Well, in that particular reference, it's a little macabre, but your point taken. Kip up by Wild. He caught Martinez a little too long in the high rent. Big chops up top.
Looks like, wow, what is going on?
Renee
now again. She's got the feet. Oh! She held on to the feet.
2, could that be it? No!
She held on to Chris Wild's feet so he couldn't get all the way around for the superplex, and Ricky Martinez just dropped right on top of him.
Look at Wild. Oh, that left leg. That left leg. He may have seriously injured that leg. He might really be hurt here. He's going to try and gut it out, but he can barely put weight on it. And yeah, Martinez knows it now. Martinez oh no. He's going to go right to work on that hamstring. He might have torn a hamstring. You don't want to speculate too much, but that left leg is just all sorts of busted up. Shades of the Garvin stomp.
Listen, I've pulled a hamstring before. One of the worst things, besides bending your leg, is straightening your leg when you have a pulled hamstring. A torn hamstring is a completely different story, and I'm sure exponentially worse.
Oh! He DDTs that leg, and the look on Wild's face of just exasperation, of knowing how much harder this task has become, of keeping his career alive, of seizing that belt.
And speaking of what I was alluding to earlier, it looks like Ricky Martinez is going to attempt a figure four leg lock.
This might be
and
it.
There it is.
This might be it, right in the middle of the ring. Wild's left leg, the one that's in the four position, the pretzel position. And look at the face of Wild. Fighting hard. Shoulders down, 2, he gets up. But that puts more pressure on the joint. He's screaming at Martinez.
And being that Wild's a little bit smaller of a guy than Martinez, his reach isn't as long. Martinez just barely able to back up just enough that he's not getting hit by those attempted shots by Wild.
And Wild gets the ropes, but at what cost the rope break? What will be left of Chris Wild now? The crowd very firmly, very clearly, they want Chris Wild to win. But Ricky Martinez just dissecting that wounded left leg. Appears to be the hamstring. And now it might also be the knee, but if not.
If it isn't now, there's a very good chance it's going to be.
Strutting and cutting, styling and profiling. Oh wait, Wild called him inside cradle, this can do it, 2, 3! An unbelievable finish to a match that saw so many twists and turns. And at the end of the day, Chris Wild, out of nowhere, securing an inside cradle, getting the 3, winning the Mid-Atlantic Championship, and most importantly, he lives to fight another day in the ECWA.
We mentioned it earlier, how there's a very good chance that Ricky the Mountain Martinez's ego was going to be his downfall. And it looked like it was. He went for a second figure 4. That's fine. You want to win with a figure 4, that's fine. But he stopped, he pulled the knee pad off, he mocked J.J. Dillon, he strutted a little bit, and then he went for the figure 4. He took too much time because he thought he had the match won. And look what happened.
Did you know that New York State uses more energy than all of sub-Saharan Africa?
Nearly 1.5 billion people lack access to electricity.
Nearly 3 billion people cook in deadly fumes.
Energy can transform economies,
Lives,
continents.
our planet.
We have a historic chance to eliminate energy poverty.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has launched a new initiative.
Let's bring energy to all.
To power,
Women,
Progress,
growth,
our future.
energy for all.
If you haven't figured out that this week's episode is about Chris Wild, one of 2 things is true about you. 1, you didn't watch the first 3 episodes of Code Red building up to the title match on June 7th, and shame on you for not doing that. Your mother would be embarrassed. She'd be appalled at that behavior. Or 2nd, you just weren't watching the open of the show. Maybe you went to the bathroom. Maybe you just get tired of my antics. You thought you'd miss them? Guess again. John Germain Esquire is still here with you, and this week we will talk all things Chris Wild, the man who ended Papa Don's record-long streak as the heavyweight champion, the man who you just saw beat Ricky Martinez in December of 2013 for the Mid-Atlantic title that is still festooned around the waist of the Heart Killer, the man who employs the 50 Shades of Pain, the Kata Hajime rear naked choke. And if he can do that on June 7th, not only will he get a win, he will get back for the second time, Big Red, the ECWA heavyweight title. But we have a lot to talk about with Chris Wilde. After all, he's seen his share of ups and downs in the ECWA. Some would say, myself included, he is the heart, no pun intended, and soul of this very company. So we've seen how he got the Mid-Atlantic title. We're going to take you back now, back in time to 2012, when he won the heavyweight title from Papa Don, a man who seemed unbeatable, a man who had beaten Chris Wilde once before with that very title on the line. But Chris Wilde dug deep. He found a new trick in that big old bag that he brings to the ring of him, metaphorically, of course, because he's not Jake the Snake Roberts. There's not a bag with a snake, which is a different type of trick. And he found a way to get the belt away from the Greek god. So we're going to show you some of that match. It'll span a commercial break, and then I'll come back and we'll show you some more involving Chris Wilde, the Heart Killer, here in ECWA.
You're home. You served your country with honor. Now it's time to strike out on a new path forward. You're a veteran. You set the standard for character, integrity, leadership. And you've gained valuable skills. Skills employers are looking for. At jobcenter.usa.gov, you can get access to personalized services and the support you need to find the perfect career. This is U.S. Navy and Marine Corps veteran Montel Williams saying, visit an American Job Center today and discover your next opportunity of a lifetime.
Of the 4 men on June 7th, Chris Wilde's the only one to have had the privilege, the honor, have earned the right to call himself the ECWA heavyweight champion. And we'll see whether or not that comes into play, comes in handy, matters, that experience, come June 7th. But before we get there, we have to show you how Chris Wilde won his way into this very match. You see, back in April at the Super 8 tournament, we had one slot still open. We had things to be settled regarding that one slot. So the hires up, put a bunch of really talented guys into a ring and made an old school battle royale, pinfall, submission, or over the top rope. And it was chaos. Not only was Chris Wilde going to have to fend with some of the best and brightest in the ECWA, but one man in particular had gotten under his skin lately, had gotten at his craw, and that's Mark Harrow, the Dragonfly, who still made his presence known far before he showed up in the match. Don't believe me? Take a look at these highlights from the Battle Royale that sent Chris Wilde into the title match on June 7th.
Impressive knife-edge chops from Anua'i. Incredible explosiveness in the big corner splash. And a spear! And with all that speed, he takes down Solo. All right, coaches, rejoin me. Coach, what the hell was that? Ulala choke slammed out too. He stunnered and rock bottom Papadon. He hit the Hogan boot. He hit the people's elbow. Let's just say we've been working on things. What did you put in his Wheaties this morning? Oh, man. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure Lance Anua'i just got crushed. There is some carnage in that ring. Rope break there. Hey, by the way, too, if he's not scary enough, his nose appears to be broken. The blood is trickling down his face. And in true R2 fashion, he doesn't care. Hey, wait a minute. Wilde wants the Kata Hajime, the 50 Shades of Pain. I don't even know if they can lock it in. R2's neck is so massive. Well, he doesn't have to break the ropes. Yeah, I'm surprised, actually, now that you mentioned it, that there was a rope break granted to Anua'i. I guess that's the chaos and confusion of this match. I mean, and we're still out there with 6 of the 8. 6 of the 8. Kid starting it off. Big running knee from Anua'i. Wow. Now, I said when he came out here, the pace was going to quicken. I'm not seeing Papadon. I just sat down. He's in the corner. He is in the corner. Biding his time. All right. Trying to get lay of the land here. Anua'i goes after Solo. Gets him up under the chin, and there goes Solo. It's a good thing this wasn't a rumble. Except you can still be eliminated over the top. I must have missed that roll. I was going for pinfalls. Well, yeah. Anua'i is in a predicament where he could be eliminated from here. He went over the top. Papadon going after Kid again. I'm amazed Kid USA stole this match. Oh my God! Cover! 2, 3! Wow! Lance Anua'i takes out both members of the Legion of Destruction. Super kick sending Solo over the top rope. An incredible hang time, and we are down to 4. The newcomer Anua'i, the Mid-Atlantic champion Chris Wilde, Mr. ECWA Papadon, and would you believe Kid USA? Come on, Mr. Blackheart. just impressed that Kid USA is still in this thing. I still think he has zero chance of winning it. But by God, he has hung in there with Papadon and Atu and Solo and Chris Wilde.
You know what he's got? America.
I thought you were going to say Moxie.
No, not Moxie.
Is it Moxie America?
No.
The makers of Spunk. We've got Moxie.
Moxie America.
Nice tornado elbow by Chris Wilde, and there it goes.
Oh, he couldn't hold on.
Kid USA has been eliminated.
We are down to 3.
He is tattered and torn like the American flag in a battle.
Like at Fort Sumter. Now we are down to 3. And now you can say, honestly, any man can win it. Anuahi with the pedigree and the pace. Oh, there's the European uppercut. Beheading Anuahi. Now Wilde. Diamond dust. Ducks the Anuahi right. On the cross body. Big Samoan drop.
Jake's buy you a Coke.
And Lance Anuahi making a big-time statement in his ECWA debut. Nobody home that time, though. Chris Wilde vacates the premises.
Papadon finally up to 2 feet.
Tries to toss Wilde. Wilde skins the cat, and he's back in. And Papadon. Wait, Pop thinks he's won. Pop thinks that Wilde went over the top. Sorry, Pop. Super kick. That could do it. Oh, wait a minute. Wilde wants to go up top and punctuate it. Swanton from the top. Wow. Far leg hook. 2, 3. Wow.
Wow. Did I say wow?
Well, there you have it. That's how Chris Wilde got from there to the proverbial here. The here being June 7th and the title match against the 3 other men, Napalm Bomb, Breaker Morant, Ricky Martinez. You've seen it all. Quick timeout. On the other side, I'm going to talk about Chris Wilde's chances in this contest come June 7th. Plus, we're going to set you up for next week, the go-home show before the big show. Raising the Bar 3, June 7th at the Newark Boys and Girls Club. We'll talk more about that after this. Stick around, Code Red.
If they smell it, you see teenagers smoking. Because I started smoking when I was a teenager.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
Welcome back one final time on this episode of ECWA Code Red. I'm John Jermaine Esquire, and I'm melting like a snowman in July under these bright lights in the ECWA studio. So I'm going to be quick. I'm going to tell you that next week on this program, if you thought that we were only having one match on June 7th, guess again, we've got a bunch of things to take care of, to settle, to work out, and we're going to cover all that next week. But, as I promised, we prognosticated the other 3. But if I got to pick one guy to come out on top, to win the whole kit and caboodle, it's got to be Chris Wilde, right? I mean, after all, this guy's got the deepest reserve of anybody. He's got the tenacity, the grit, he's got the fans behind him, and he's won the belt before. Ostensibly, the most decorated wrestler to ever lace up boots and compete in an ECWA ring. But the one thing he hasn't had to contend with is the fact that 3 other men are in the match. 2 of them could result in the fall or submission that decides a thing, with him not even playing a role. There are outside variables he can't control, but the thing he can control, right there, That big right foot, that super kick, that quick twitch, quick strike weapon that can lay anyone out anytime, or, if he prefers, the Kata Hajime, the 50 Shades of Pain. Having been there, having done that, having had the experience, having put his career on the line against Ricky Martinez, having had to beat a bunch of other men in a battle royale just to get here, if I'm putting money on this match, which I can legally in Delaware, by the way, I'm putting it on Chris Wilde. But hey, we'll all find out together come June 7th whether or not my guess was as good as yours. Until next time, for tickets and information, ECWAProWrestling.com. For more info on this little outfit that puts on this show, POD Productions, go to PridesProductions.com. Until next time, for all of ECWA and POD, I am John Germain Esquire, and I'm just plumb tired and out of here. See you next week.